Hello friends, this is Pastor Richard. I love Saudi Arabia. I remember being out in the desert and seeing a Bedouin shepherd in his Land Cruiser driving behind his camels, guiding and shepherding his flock of camels from his car, only in Saudi Arabia. It reminds me that Jesus is the Good Shepherd. We see this in John chapter 10 from verse 11 to verse 18. And there are simple reasons why Jesus is the Good Shepherd. The first one is, he says, I give my life for the sheep. He says in verse 15, I lay down my life for the sheep. He says in verse 18, no one takes my life. I have the power to lay it down, and I have the power to take it up again. It's very unusual for a shepherd to die for his sheep, because the shepherd is more important. And yet, Jesus, God on the earth, died for your sin and for mine. He took your sin and my sin upon him. He laid down his life for our sin. The greater died for the lesser. Unbelievable. He laid down his life, but he had the power to take it up again. Jesus rose from the dead. He said, I've paid the debt of sin. I've borne the penalty by my suffering on the cross. Therefore, these silly, weak, foolish, rebellious, sinful sheep, if they believe that I am God on the earth who took the penalty for their sin, they can come into the presence of the most holy God in heaven and have eternal life. You see, Jesus is good because he laid down his life for you and for me. No one forced him to do that. He gave it, and then he took up his life again. He has resurrection power because he is God on the earth. Another very interesting thing in this passage that shows that Jesus is good, he says, other sheep have I in verse 16. They're not of this flock. He was talking to those who are in Israel. They're from other nations. They're from other peoples. They're from other tribes. They're from other languages. And I'm going to bring them into my flock. And there will be one shepherd, and there will be one flock. You see, Jesus is good because he didn't just lay down his life for a few people in a very small country. He laid down his life for the world. For God so loved the world that he sent his only begotten Son, that whoever believes on him would not perish, but have eternal life. Jesus, God on the earth, died for the sins of everyone, every tribe. That Bedouin following after camels, Jesus died for him. And if he believes, he will go to heaven. And I can't wait for that day in heaven where there are Saudis and Afghanis and Pakistanis and Libyans and Syrians and Jordanians and Koreans and Russians and Argentines and Canadians and Americans and Kenyans and Australians, all one flock, all who have believed that Jesus is the God who came to this earth to lay down his life for his sheep and then take his life up again because he has all the power of being a good shepherd.